I've been sitting on this bench for more than 40 years. In that time, I've heard every lie, every excuse, and every story of pain a person can carry into a courtroom. My father used to tell me, Frank, don't let anger drive the car. Let fairness drive it. I've held onto those words my entire career, because a courtroom isn't a stage. It's a mirror. People walk in believing they can control what that mirror reflects, but they can't. Not in my courtroom. This case arrived on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, October 14 docket line 3. Case number 24 TR 7719. On paper, it looks small. Improper parking in a veterans-only space at Harborview Medical Plaza. A fine, $250. Toffee, $180. The kind of citation most people pay online, and forget by morning, but this one didn't forget. She showed up in person. Her name was Sloane Kensington. 24 years old, and she walked in like the air belonged to her. Designer everything. A white Birkin bag resting on her arm like part of her identity. Sunglasses pushed into perfectly styled hair, even indoors. A tailored black blazer, diamond bracelet, Rolex catching the light, perfect nails. Perfect hair. A cloud of expensive perfume trailing behind her like a curtain. She didn't look nervous, she looked inconvenienced, like the courthouse was just an obstacle standing between her and the life she believed she deserved. Behind her stood Patrolman Luis Martinez, steady, quiet, professional, the kind of officer worn down by long nights, yet still determined to stay kind. And near the back of the courtroom sat a man who carried weight in a different way, Calvin Harris. 58 years old, Army veteran. 22 years of service. 2 deployments. A limp that didn't come from age, but from war. That veterans-only parking space was inconvenience to him. It was recognition. A small sign from society that said, "We remember," and on the night Sloane parked there, he needed that reminder more than anyone could imagine. It was late Saturday night, rain falling hard, turning the parking lot into black glass beneath the lights. Calvin arrived with his daughter beside him, feverish, struggling to breathe. 2 grandchildren half asleep in the back seat. He didn't come for attention. He came because war had taught him one rule: you don't ignore breathing problems, you don't wait and hope, you act. He searched for the veteran's space near the entrance. Cold weather makes old wounds speak louder. Crossing a wet parking lot with a failing leg while holding a sick daughter is an inconvenience. It's danger. And then he saw it. A bright yellow Lamborghini Urus parked crooked across the veterans only space. No placard. No veteran plates. No excuse, just luxury, parked on top of respect. Calvin stood there in the rain, jacket soaking through, staring at that car, not because of the money, because of the message: I'm more important than you. So he parked far away, nearly 200 feet from the entrance, and walked through the rain with his daughter leaning on him, his grandchildren asking in small, scared voices, "Is mommy okay?" He told them yes, even though he wasn't sure. Hours later, when they finally came back outside, the Lamborghini was gone, but the feeling it left behind wasn't. Back in my courtroom, when Sloane's name was called, she stepped forward like this was all a nuisance. "Miss Kensington," I asked, "do you understand why you're here?" She sighed, "Because I parked for, 2 minutes. 2 minutes? I repeated, "It was raining. I was dropping something off. Honestly, it's just paint on the ground. Just paint on the ground. You can feel a room change when respect disappears, like the temperature drops." I kept my voice calm. "It's not paint. It's a reserved space for veterans." She shrugged. "I had an emergency. My friend was having a panic attack. You want me to abandon my friend over a parking spot?" Her tone suggested I was the unreasonable one. I turned to Mr. Harris and asked if he wished to speak. He stood slowly, careful with his leg. No anger. No performance, just quiet dignity. "Your Honor, I'm not here for money. I'm here because that spot mattered that night. My daughter couldn't breathe. My grandkids were scared. I had to walk her across the lot in the rain, and my leg doesn't do well in the cold. I served 22 years. I never asked for much of that sign was one small thing." His voice cracked on the word small. "I watched a friend bleed out in the sand, calling for his mother. I came home thinking maybe people would remember, maybe they'd respect something. Then I saw that car, like I was nobody." Sloane didn't soften. Didn't move. Didn't care. When I asked if she had anything to say to him, she tilted her head and replied, "I'm sorry he feels that way. Not sorry for what she did, sorry for how he felt." Then Patrolman Martinez stepped forward with more information, security footage showing she returned later, read the sign, took a selfie beside it, and placed a sticker over the word veteran. The sticker read VIP. The courtroom let out that quiet sound of disbelief, the sound people make when decency is crossed. I asked if she did it. It was a joke. She said. A joke. I looked at the prior citations. 2 handicap zone violations, both paid, both dismissed by money. She waved her hand. Accidents. They paint too many special spots. It's confusing. And then she said the sentence that told me exactly who she was: "Just tell me the fine, I'll pay it. My dad will pay it. Can we move on? I have Pilates at 4. Pilates at 4. The words landed in the room like something fragile breaking. Mr. Harris sat quietly, the way a man sits when he sees a storm coming and already knows his roof leaks. I asked him about his daughter. He told me Emily had missed work. He had missed work too. He drives an airport shuttle, and when he doesn't drive, he doesn't get paid. 2 days of income gone, but he stayed with his daughter anyway. I turned back to Sloane. "Do you understand what it means to lose 2 days' pay?" She blinked, like the idea belonged to another universe. "That's not my fault." Then her voice went colder. "I didn't put him in the army. I didn't give him a limp. I didn't make his daughter sick." Somewhere in the gallery, a woman whispered, "Oh my God." I felt anger rise in my chest and forced it back down, because when a judge becomes emotional, the room stops believing in justice. So I stayed steady. "Miss Kensington," I said calmly, "this isn't about blame for illness. It's about respect for sacrifice." She snorted, "This court is for people who can't afford lawyers. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time here. You probably drive a 2005 Toyota and think that makes you holy." The courtroom froze. That was her attempt to shrink me, to measure worth by a card. I looked at her and spoke slowly. "I don't measure holiness by cars. I measure character by choices, and your choices have been poor. She shrugged, whatever. Moral speech. Then my clerk handed me a printed page, Your Honor. Instagram. I looked down. A story posted at 12:24 a.m. location tagged, Harborview Medical Plaza caption, when you're too rich for the rules, veteran spot equals VIP spot, cry about it. There she was, laughing, pointing at the sign, the sticker covering the word veteran. A pole beneath it, bow queen or let them try. Her expression shifted, not guilt, not sadness, just irritation, at being caught. Is this your account? I asked. Fake accounts exist, she said quickly, it's your face, your voice, your car, and the location matches. She lifted her chin, it was a joke for my followers. How many followers? 212,000, she said proudly. I nodded slowly. So you turn disrespect into content. Everybody does that. I held up the page, and you wrote. Cry about it. She shrugged, people cry about everything. And in that moment, the entire courtroom turned on her. No shouting, just that quiet, shared disgust that makes a person suddenly feel very alone. Then another line in the email caught my eye. A nurse had written, Judge, please check the second story, there are medication bottles in her bag. We pulled it up. A shaky video inside the Lamborghini, her bag open on the seat, prescription bottles visible, oxycodone, alprazolam, and a small baggie of white tablets. Caption, inventory check. I had heard that phrase before, in drug cases, in courtrooms far less glamorous than this one. I looked at Officer Martinez. Was the vehicle searched? No, Your Honor, parking citation only. No probable cause at the time. That's the law, I said quietly, we don't bend it just because we dislike someone. But things had changed. Public evidence opens doors, creates leads, it becomes reasoned. I turned to Sloan. Do you understand that posting controlled substances can trigger a criminal investigation? She tried to laugh, but the sound was thin. They're prescriptions. Then you won't mind if authorities take a closer look. Her eyes flashed. Are you threatening me? No, I said evenly, I'm warning you. There's a difference. Then she played the card she believed erased consequences. My father is Theodore Kensington, you know that name. He donates to the police union. He's friends with the mayor. This isn't going to end the way you think. I leaned forward slightly. In this courtroom, your last name is just letters. IT does not buy you a different law. She scoffed. That's cute. Then she went lower. She gestured toward Mr. Harris without even looking at him. People like him should be grateful anyone gives them anything. Why taxes pay for his little parking spot anyway? Mr. Harris's face tightened, but he did not explode. That's what dignity looks like when pain has trained it. I took a breath and made a decision. Mr. Harris, I said gently, may I ask about your service? He nodded. Fallujah, then Kandahar. Length of deployment? 14 months, then 12. Do you remember the night you were injured? His eyes drifted far away. April 9th, 2007.1:18 in the morning. IED blast threw me through the air. All I could hear was ringing. I thought I was dead. His voice trembled. My friend. Specialist Jonah Reed. He wasn't moving. I tried to crawl to him, but my leg was open. Silence filled the room. Even Sloan stopped shifting. Sometimes justice doesn't need a hammer. Sometimes it needs a pause. I looked at her. Do you still think it's just paint? She swallowed. I didn't ask to hear war stories. Mr. Harris didn't ask to live them, I replied. This is emotional manipulation. She snapped. No, I said softly, this is reality, and you've been avoiding it. That was the moment I knew a fine would never be enough. Miss Kensington, I said. I could impose the maximum penalty. I could refer additional charges, but I'm choosing something different. Her eyes narrowed. What? You're going to sit here today, and you're going to listen. She laughed sharply. You can't do that. I can order structured community service and educational conditions, and I can enforce decorum. You will stay. I have plans. Cancel them. She turned to her attorney, who finally tried to whisper sense, but she pulled away, furious. Then she aimed at me again. You hate rich people. You're jealous. I kept my voice calm. I don't hate rich people. I hate cruelty. I hate disrespect, and I hate the belief that money makes someone untouchable. Then I gave the next order. I instructed Officer Martinetto contact local veterans groups and the courthouse liaison. I wanted veterans who were willing, never forced, to come and speak, because sometimes the only way to teach respect is to let truth enter the room. Real voices, real memories, not a speech from a pamphlet. At 3:11 p.m. The courtroom doors opened again. A man stepped in quickly, silver hair, tailored suit, quiet authority, the kind of presence people move aside for without even knowing why. Theodore Kensington. Sloan's father. For a split second, her face lit up. Dad, tell him. But Theodore raised one hand. Stop. Just one word, and it landed harder than any shout. She stared at him, stunned like she had never heard that tone in her life. He turned toward the bench. Your Honor. I saw the posts. I'm embarrassed, and I'm sorry. They're overreacting. Sloan snapped. His voice turned cold. You vandalized a veteran sign. It was a sticker. It was your attitude, he said quietly. It's always been your attitude. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a badge case, gold letters catching the courtroom light. DA. He opened it for the record. Special Agent Theodore Kensington, badge number 33214. The room went completely still. Sloan's mouth fell open. Dad, what are you doing? He didn't look angry. He looked worse, disappointed. Because of what you posted, he said, my office will be reviewing your inventory check. The color drained from her face. Real fear now, the kind money can't buy away. You can't do that to me, she whispered. I'm not doing it to you, he replied. You did it to yourself. Her hand trembled. That designer bag suddenly looked small, like a toy in a burning house. She turned back to me, voice fragile. Judge, can we just handle the parking thing? Now you want it small again? I asked, tears filled her eyes. I didn't mean it. Did you mean cry about it? Silence. Did you mean VIP over veteran? Her voice broke. It was stupid. It was cruel, I said. Behind her, her father stood like a wall that had finally stopped bending. The sentence, Ms. Kensington, you will pay the $250 fine and the $180 tow fee. She nodded quickly, like she would have paid anything to escape that moment. In addition, I continued, you will complete 200 hours of community service at the Veterans Rehabilitation Center on Elmwood Avenue. Not donations, not photos, actual service. Her lips parted. 200 hours? 200. And today, I added, you will attend a 6-hour veteran support circle inside this courthouse.no phone.no comments.no posting, break that order, and you will return here for contempt. She shook her head, crying harder. 6 hours? Yes. 6 hours. Then I gave the condition that finally changed her posture. You will write 2 letters, one to Mr. Harris, one to the veterans group, explaining what you did, why it was wrong, and what you learned. Those letters will become public record. She looked up in panic. People will see it. Yes, I said softly, that's the point. You wanted attention, now you'll receive the kind that teaches. I'll donate, she rushed, I'll donate a lot. Money isn't the same as humility. Mr. Harris sat quietly, not celebrating, just watching, like a man who finally felt seen. Before recess I asked if he wished to speak. He stood slowly and looked at Sloane, not with anger, but with tired mercy. Young lady, he said, I don't want you ruined, I want you awake. Some people walk through rain carrying family, some walk through life carrying a mirror. Put the mirror down. That broke something in her. No fine ever could. She cried, not loudly, but deeply, like the words had found the last soft place inside her. 6 hours of truth. 3:34 p.m. The circle began and veterans entered one by one. A Marine missing, an ARM.AN Army medic haunted by screams in her sleep. A Navy sailor with burned scars who spoke so gently it felt like he didn't trust sound itself. They didn't speak for pity, they spoke for truth. Sloane sat in silence, her luxury clothes now looking like the wrong costume. The wrong ceremony. Hour 1, quiet tears, wiped quickly. Hour 2, staring at her hands. Hour 3, a whisper, I'm sorry. To no one, not just practicing the words. Hour 4, a story of burning metal and hair. She gagged, covering her mouth. Hour 5, a veteran describing the terror of quiet rooms after war. Noise disappears. Her shoulders shook. She finally understood. War doesn't end when soldiers come home. Hour 6, a Mr. Harris spoke again, not about explosions, about grandchildren. A skin if their mother would die. About hiding his limb so they wouldn't be afraid. About swallowing anger because anger in the wrong place gets people killed. 9:41 p.m. She stood before the bench again, different, not transformed, but quieter, like her world had finally grown larger than herself. What did you learn? I asked. Her voice trembled. I learned I acted like the world owed me comfort. I didn't care who I stepped on. I thought a parking spot was nothing, but it wasn't nothing. I used it for a joke, for views, and I'm ashamed. Because you were caught? I asked, or because you understand? She looked at Mr. Harris, really looked this time, because I understand. I nodded slowly. Understanding is where change begins, action is how it's proven. She walked to Mr. Harris.no phone.no performance.no audience. Mr. Harris, I'm sorry, I didn't deserve that spot. He nodded once. Do better. Just 2 words, and more mercy than she had earned at the start. After the courtroom emptied I sat alone for a moment. I do that sometimes. Let the noise fade. Let the truth settle. Justice isn't humiliation. It's protection, restoration, correction without destruction. My father used to say, correct them, but don't crush them. That day, I tried to correct her in a way that might still build something decent, because the world doesn't need more people who can afford Lamborghinis, the world needs more people who can afford kindness.